Welcome back to Impact AI. I'm your host, John Hodges. On this show, we explore how leaders across industries are navigating change, driving growth, and leveraging technology to stay ahead. Today, we're talking about hospitality, what's fueling growth in the sector, what challenges leaders are facing, and how AI and digital tools are shaping the path forward. My guest today is someone who brings a unique blend of expertise and perspective. Damali McDowell is the Vice President of Sales at CSS DIRECTV for hotels, senior communities, and institutions. She spent her career connecting organizations to innovative solutions while keeping people and relationships at the center. Damali has also held roles in banking, consulting, and community initiatives like Finding Your Way, a program used songwriting to create a social change. Damali, I'm really excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it.
Before we dive in, could you introduce yourself to our listeners and share a little bit about your journey into hospitality and your leadership?
Sure. I started out in retail years and years and years ago. And In the retail industry, I learned a lot about customer service. And I learned a lot about sales in general, providing, excellent customer service for those who were looking to make a purchase. And I was hands-on about it from the beginning, and I felt like it was a natural fit for me. It was my natural element and environment, and that's where I kind of enjoyed being in a place where I could actually be a vessel and help people find what they were looking for or make suggestions and things of that nature. And then from there, it kind of evolved. And I got more interested in the actual business side of it, and got into business to business in about 1999, 2000. So I've been in the on the technology side. It started in finance with the fintech industry. I worked for a company called First Data at the time, and I was working with SunTrust bankers, setting them up for merchant services, which is credit card sales and so forth through First Data. I was actually a First Data employee. And right out of training, I did it for about 4 years. Right out of training, I did 328% of my goal. So I realized, okay, this is something that I could see myself really engaging in long term, and understood kind of the protocols behind the scenes in terms of the technology that was used to transact, from swiping the credit card to the funding coming from the bank into the merchant bank account and so forth, and got more interested in that. And that's when I started shifting into distribution of content, and the technology behind that. And became very familiar, got on with Universal NBC, working at an affiliate news station, created um, uh, strategies and advertisements on search engine marketing, search engine optimization, became Google certified, and helped small to medium sized businesses grow their bottom line
Wow.
by utilizing search technology, and ending up in the right places under certain keywords and key phrases, and kind of giving them direction, and essentially went from there into the entertainment industry as a whole, created my own platform, digital platform at the time. I was a
Wow.
little ahead of my time because this was about 15 years ago, and got really heavy on the distribution of content side, and had an excellent team, and partnered with a technologist who was head of R&D of the fourth largest manufacturer of electronics in
Hmm.
China called CCOM at the time, Dr. Lael Alexander. And we created an agreement where my platform, my app at the time, would be preloaded on all the devices we would sell in Walmart stores globally.
Wow.
So that kind of catapulted me into another level of C-suite level relationships, et cetera. Was basically the project manager, facilitator of that introduction of that technology. It took to Walmart. Took 18 months. We got our supplier agreement and 6 trips to Bentonville, Arkansas, 2 to China, actually.
Hmm.
Um, and we were able to do that. And once I was able to do that, I really got really heavy in the tech space in terms of how our devices work and the fiber and all the other things that provide us our consuming content daily and
Wow.
having, like you mentioned earlier, access through our phones and so forth, and just how our behaviors are around that now. And then in the entertainment industry, explored utilizing and adapting some of these technologies in terms of how the internet can be a great tool to basically expose and bring opportunities that you may have had to go to a studio before or somewhere else. It created a space for independent business owners to become a part of the market and put their own touches and their own creativity and diversify our options in terms of the what we're consuming daily in terms of the content. And so I then decided I wanted to come back into the workforce out of the independent contracting side of it after I did what I did with the tech company. And that's when I got on with Citibank. I did some training when Citibank acquired the Costco credit card from American Express. I was a part of the acquisition team and the training team, trained all the new hires for that division of Citibank. Really enjoyed that. And then decided I wanted to get back into media, and that's why I'm here with CSS, which we are a distributor of DIRECTV. We focus solely on hospitality, as you mentioned, senior living. And right now, where the market's at, obviously the seniors, the baby boomers, they are becoming very tech savvy, actually, post-pandemic. That really implicated the industry a great deal. The pandemic did, and post-pandemic, we're seeing that seniors have become very technologically savvy,
Yeah.
as opposed to what I originally thought when I first got into this business and this sector of the business. I figured, oh, they're probably used to using their remotes and the traditional television and so forth. Nah, they love streaming and they want it, and they're embracing um, having access to their favorite sports, the Dodgers or
Right.
I'm in California, so
Yeah.
it's always, we need the Lakers or we need, the regional sports, and they like having various news stations and they like having just access to even Hallmark. They love having access to those stations and those channels, and so we kind of specialize in that. That's our niche here at CSS. And for 4 years, we've been the leader for DirecTV in
Hmm.
providing that type of entertainment for the senior living hospitality communities.
Wow. That's quite
Yeah.
the
Sorry, I
expansive.
was so long-winded. Just
No,
wanted to give the journey.
no, it was definitely a journey. And
Yeah.
when I did my research on you, um, your online presence is more like relationship based and
Yes.
centered, and
Yes.
which was great. I loved it. But boy, you just blasted us with a super technical background. That's
Yeah.
uh that's quite amazing. So you're quite well rounded. So how do you see uh AI being used to personalize guest and resident experiences? Well, it could be in hotels, but in your niche, senior communities.
That's a great question. So one of the ways is definitely what we have a special channel that we provide, and that channel is a tool for our clients to customize the experiences for their guests, so they can use it to um, basically put someone's birthday on the screen, or they can use it to welcome a new resident, or they can use it to make announcements about, or put schedules up there regarding medications,
Right.
nursing staff, and so forth. So that's a great tool. And it is AI centric because of the specialized, way you can set it up or what have you. So it's very customized in that
Yeah.
way. The other thing is you can Alexa. I don't know. Sometimes people have like all these different things they use in the home. Alexa can turn on your TV. It can turn on the channel you want. Things of that nature. That's a great way that we're integrating AI into the experience of being entertained. It can give you the radio station you want or play some music that you want to hear. If you want to hear Frank Sinatra, you can say, Alexa, play Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
And in order to use Alexa, you have to have Wi-Fi. You have to have um, the connectivity on the back end to be able to facilitate all these different mechanisms that we're using in technological savvy devices. So AI is great for that. And then obviously it just keeps us informed in terms of statistics and trends in the marketplace, in terms of behaviors and how consumers are interacting
Right.
with AI, and how we can use it for information regarding, various even when it comes to like vacation trends and hospitality trends, what sets you apart, right? So a lot of times when I talk to business owners, because of the relational side of my expertise, it's always about relationships, especially
Yeah.
in banking, especially in hospitality, especially and actually in technology, it's very relationship centric because it's very intuitive. And a lot of times people they see the numbers and, it becomes digitized in that way, but it actually has movement and it has
Yeah.
an interaction, right? And it's how we engage with it, right? And if you know the way to prompt and the way to ask for what you're looking for, that could be beneficial. So if you have training programs and things like that, that offer the general audiences or your clients or your residents or your guests at the hotel, if generally speaking, if we in the market start providing more information, whether it's through the news sources or through blogs or through podcasts,
Yeah.
um, we're able to help people not only become more comfortable with it and familiar with it, but become more experts in how to use it in a way that it, again, benefits quality of life and so forth. So, what about ordering your food?
Sure.
You could do room service through AI. You can, I went to a business meeting, and I met a client in his room, and he was at the penthouse level. So he had his name, welcome Dr. Alexander to your room, and so on and
Yeah.
so forth. Those little touches matter. And then, usually you have a butler or someone a white glove service that comes with
Sure.
that, right? So it enhances all of those things, all of those experiences. And it's important and imperative for businesses like ours to stay on top of, because technology moves, it's progressive, right?
Yeah.
So it's always advancing. We have to stay informed and kind of watch the direction things are going in the mass marketplace, and just figure out how we can provide the best of the best service. And that's what we thrive on here at CSS. And that's one of the reasons why I love working with Dave Sines and Mark Gonzalez, who have been in this business 25 years, directly with DIRECTV. They're total rock stars, and they totally understand where they're at and what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. And Dave always says, it's all about customers and clients' experience first and foremost. So, how can what we provide set us apart from
Yes.
anyone else in the market? And it really is, in my humble opinion, relationships, which I think, ironically, that was some of the challenge with digitization, right? Because a lot of people
Yeah.
became desensitized from
Right.
how to just interact every day and say hello and how are you, and
Right.
neighbors being neighbors and coworkers being coworkers, and everything's so AI, it's almost impersonal at times. It feels that way, right? So that's
Yep.
why I always use the word complementary to our who we are and how we interact as human beings, as as social beings. It should be more of that than it should take away from how the things that we need in terms of interaction and so forth that help us daily.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, from your perspective, what do you feel is fueling growth right now in the hospitality and senior living? I mean, is it like new markets or changing guest expectations or technology?
So I think it's a combination of those things. There's definitely new market trends that are like there's rapid adaptation. Like I mentioned earlier,
Hmm.
the senior community is really starting to embrace, technology and the use of it and so forth. There's cost savings in streaming as opposed to some of the traditional satellite
Right.
cable TV setups. So we're getting into the streaming business heavily.
Okay.
It's going really well in order to be competitive with any other service that's out there. It's on demand. So a lot of times, and variety, like I mentioned, you have choices now, sometimes too many.
Yeah.
What we are noticing is people stick to their routine, even though they have all these options. A lot of times people gravitate towards what they find interesting or what have you. And every now
Right.
and then they might venture off into something else. And it just helps improve the well-being overall, the morale sometimes. A lot of times seniors in particular can be really lonely. So TV is a great way for them, or entertainment is a great way for them to feel engaged, feel like they're on the current market trends and the news and the latest news and all these other things. So those are some of the things that, we notice. There's very high viewership, around 90%, uh, for of older adults watch television daily.
Hmm.
So TV and food are essentials, believe it or not, for the senior living community.
Right.
So that's, obviously significant in our business. It's
Yes.
basically a utility. And that's kind of how I talk to business owners or people who own boarded care homes or skilled nursing living facilities or hospitals. Uh, I myself, in 2014, had a um, health scare, if you will, for lack of a better term, and I was in the hospital for a very long time. And without that TV, and my family visiting, I don't know. Would I've, and I watched hours and hours of Grey's Anatomy, ironically, but so it's important. Hotels, you're usually when you're vacationing, you're out and about, you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
So the hotel service, it's mostly sports and stuff like that that people tend to watch in the hotel room here or there. But mostly it's great for announcements and things of that nature, because who wants to sit in a hotel room and watch a movie when you have the beach outside, or
Right.
whatever. So it's a little different, but senior living, it's totally something that is imperative. But in terms of the market, yeah, I think that's where the opportunities really are, is the senior living sector because of the things that I just mentioned. That's where
Yeah.
the real opportunities lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, as VP of sales,
Hmm.
how do you leverage AI or data analytics to better understand your clients' needs and maybe close deals faster or something
Sure.
like that?
Great question. I think it's just about asking the right questions, and being a good listener. Oftentimes with sales, a lot of times people feel like we have all this information, right? Because we're constantly being inundated with information about our environment or our products or that kind of thing. But I think the most important thing is asking the right questions to the people you're talking to because they're the expert of their own business.
Right.
And I think I always say, listen, I have some ideas, and I'm going to present my ideas, and then we'll see if this makes sense. It may or may not. for your business. But if we can figure out how we can work together to make this a win-win, let's talk about it. Let's explore that. So I'm more consultative in that way, then I don't just push what I think would work,
Right.
because I feel like people are more receptive and open to a conversation about it as opposed to me coming in like I'm the expert and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need. They can
Ab-
tell me what they need more than I can tell them what they that I think they
Absolutely.
need because
Yeah.
they're in the front lines daily. I hear every day clients, customers telling me, hey, I originally thought, they would be good with just ESPN1, ESPN2, but no, they're fussing. They want Dodgers, they want Lakers, they want the local regional. So can we switch that around and things like that? And instead of me saying, oh, but ESPN is going to give you this and that, and I listen and I say, no worries. I'll make that change for you because we want to make sure that her residents are happy, right? And she's got 5 locations and she's got all these things she's got going on in the background. Operationally, the last thing she wants to worry about is the TV
Right.
not being service not being suitable for her
Right.
residents. So it's an amenity that's an essential. And what we do is actually vitally important to the experience for these business owners in the small to medium sized business sector and also the larger facilities and outfits that we service. We just did a really big one, I think last week, and we met. We went to the RCFE Association conference in Anaheim at the Disneyland Hotel, and we acquired a significant amount of relationships. We were the only vendor there that provided TV service, so we were able to talk to a lot of the business owners in the
Hmm.
hospitality, senior living community sector
Yeah.
about what their needs are and how they interact daily with their service, their TV service. And so that was not only informative, but it was a great networking opportunity.
Sure.
And we've actually closed business based on those relationships and having that understanding, having that conversation. And so I think it's a conversation. It's, hey, you tell me. How many guests, have TVs in their rooms? How long are they allowed to watch TV? Or do you encourage them to come out of their rooms and watch it in the main living area? Or do you guys
Right.
have activities around it? Or, those kinds of things. Some of my clients have memory care, so they don't want their their residents in the room all day. They want to pull them out. If you have Alzheimer's, dementia, with the increase of those diagnoses, you have more memory care is actually a huge business opportunity right
Mhm.
now. Those specialized things are um, very niche, but they are, unfortunately, the numbers are growing, so there are needs that have to be met.
Sure.
And so we have to be sensitive to all those nuances to the industry, or we choose to be. So that way our service is white glove.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. What are some biggest challenges that you've seen when organizations try to adopt new technologies, or what are some of the challenges you've seen there?
So it's a saturated marketplace. There's a lot of options, right? People can buy Cox, they can go with Spectrum, they can go with, there's so many options.
Right.
And so what would set us apart, right? And I think cost is one significant thing that can be a challenge. A lot of times people want obviously the best rate, but they also want quality service. So sometimes when you go with a smaller network for your Wi-Fi or what have you, sometimes your streaming speed isn't there, or you have so many devices pulling on that, on that one server, what have you. And so it could get overwhelming. And, because we rely heavily on Wi-Fi and that kind of thing.
Sure.
That's more than anything now, right? You can have phone service and everything through Wi-Fi. So that's like the essential, right? And so there's a monopoly and there's different regions and territories and areas where, Verizon has this neighborhood and then Cox has that neighborhood. And so it's very competitive. So one of the biggest challenges is saying, hey, come do business with me, as opposed to this particular service or that particular service. And it's really about how we manage and handle our clients that I think people buy from people. It's like the product is needed. Everybody needs it, right?
Right, right.
But it's a matter of, is this person going to be available when I need them to be? When I call customer service, are they going to answer? Are they going to send someone out, a tech out? One of the advantages that we have, because we do service nationwide,
Hmm.
is that we are very hands-on. All of our reps are 100% dedicated to making sure that we provide immediate responses a lot of times to our clients' needs. And hey, sometimes that actually can make or break, the relationship, honestly. Very competitive.
Right. I can see that.
Yeah,
So as we head into our final quarter of 2025, hard to believe, but we
I
are,
know. I
and
know.
uh, and look ahead into 2026, what trends in hospitality and senior living are you most excited about or most concerned about?
So that's interesting. So I'm actually also a student at UCLA Law School, and I'm
Okay.
getting my law degree in entertainment law, media law, and technology. And AI is actually a big part, a big component of me learning how implementing AI into the marketplace legally has
Oh,
everything to do with how we're going to be able to utilize it in a way that it enhances everything. So I see the future. Obviously, that's why I decided to kind of focus in on that and make that my concentration in law school,
okay.
because I think it's all about how the technology is going to integrate into the marketplace,
Hmm.
and just understanding that from a business perspective, right? What's legal, what's not, what can we do, how can we register, how can we license this properly, and that kind of thing. Um, and then so I think that's important. But I do see there's definitely going to be some continued growth and increase for investor interest in the last quarter, because of the market trends and the way things are going in the senior living and hospitality sector. I do see that that's basically what is going to be the biggest conversation. Because of the AI component,
Right.
investors are AI heavy right now. That's kind of the focus. So fourth quarter, you're going to see more integration of streaming, AI, and then investors are going to start. You're going to see it more in the news and things like that. That
Right.
they're going to continue to go that direction. Even Warren Buffett in the last year or two has been like unloading certain traditional stocks and companies, that large companies and organizations, and he's kind of going AI heavy in a lot of ways, right? And so he's the oracle. So these individuals that are known for that science and understand that the market in that way. I heavily follow, because I see the direction that we're going in terms of our economy and our marketplace. So yeah, investors are looking for
Wow.
AI centric companies for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, Damali, thank you so much for sharing your perspective and experience today. That's all the questions that I have. But I think what really stood out for me is that you've connected people first values with forward-looking tools like AI to
Yeah.
not just keep up with the change, but to actually drive it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's great. For our listeners today, today's conversation is a reminder that growth in hospitality isn't just about technology, it's about people, relationships, and how we use these tools to serve them better. Thanks for joining us, Damali,
Thank
again.
you. Thank you.
And for everyone listening, thank you. This wraps up another episode of Impact AI with John Hodges. Stay curious, stay innovative, and keep making an impact.